Hey guys, it's your girl Yasuke Geek XX Chic, and we're back with another reaction to Yasuke. We're now on to episode 2, which is called The Old Way. So the first episode, I think, was a good introduction to the world that we're dealing with our main characters, and of course a little bit of history on how Yasuke became Yasuke, the samurai, when he started out, it looks like, as the servant of a merchant. So I think that was really great. I love the animation style of this. I'm really loving the soundtrack and how like ethereal everything is. And we ended the episode on a pretty crazy note with the attack on Yasuke and Saki and Ichika. Basically, people are after Saki, and we're not sure exactly why. We have to assume it's probably has to do with that crazy power we saw her display. But yes, the boat was attacked, and Yasuke, for the first time probably in 20 years, decided to fight. Very excited to see where we're going to go from here. Hopefully we're going to get a little bit more insight into Saki and maybe about who her dad is, because like I said in the last episode, her mom seems like she doesn't have powers, but she definitely knows how to fight. So there's a lot of questions there. So let's get into this episode, but before we do, you know the drill. If you have been here before and you like what you see, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way you'll be notified when I do more reactions to this show, as well as others that are very similar. Hopefully you will join the fam. We would love to have you. It is a lot of fun around here. All right, that out of the way, guys. Let's get into the episode right about now. We love black people who can swim. I spoke too soon.
The ancestors say knowledge is power. I respectfully disagree. Power is power.
I mean, you're both right.
Yasuke has proven to have a fine military mind in his own right.
That's right.
As good as you. Perhaps even better. How can we ever progress when our instinct is to recede? I want to
so true.
How bright.
Man, why didn't you really exist back then?
It's nothing. The seal from my family crest, given to me by my mother and her mother before her.
Oh.
It's honorable. The past informs our future. Shows who we are.
She's like, you know, you smart and cute. You said you were single? I saw that look.
Some say you can see better when you are stressed. That you can see his almighty presence. Can you see it?
All I can see is your ugly face. God. Did that make you feel tough that you
can see.
Killed a guy who was chained up?
The girl is key to controlling Europe and the Catholic Church.
Europe?
Close to achieving real power.
Wow, we got a whole other plots going on. Okay, not just Japan. We talking about the church. She doesn't look as weak now, though, I just noticed. So what happened to this girl? Was that your girlfriend? Was there a little romance? I'm confused.
I will send him back to Nobunaga with his severed head. Maybe then your drunken leader will take our culture more seriously.
I mean, he was a drunk. That is true. Ooh, your sword is shiny. Says mine. Ooh, it's about to go down. Hip hop music.
Kneel now, General. I do not wish to take your life. There's no need for bloodshed.
Y'all gonna cheat now? Unsurprising. How dare you win at our rules?
Interference from you.
Rude. Guess I gotta kill all you mofos today then. Yeah. You run like... Okay. But I guess honor. And that wasn't even a full minute. Anyone else want to do something stupid? Well, it was nice knowing you. What were you saying about heads on platters again? Look at them, they're all like, damn, he had all that in him? But the fact that that was really a great scene though, because he still honored the body even though they didn't want to even respect him as a opponent.
I survived the encounter on the river. I'm sorry.
You don't know that. Yasuke, we need to work on your people skills, boo. You can't just tell somebody her mama dead and then just leave her. Especially when you know she's sick already. Come on now. Oh, ma'am, can you... Did she just create crop circles and she killed them all? Please tell me she didn't kill like a year's worth of crops with her tears.
Nobunaga celebrates your victory while you sit here in your sorrow. Why?
You didn't want to kill people.
Death is a part of conflict. It doesn't mean I have to enjoy it.
Exactly. Good man.
Why are you...
Yasuke, come, my son.
My son? Damn, we like that. I don't blame him. Yasuke was in Europe or any place European right now. He'd be a slave, so I'll take son.
Servants will always be servants. That is our way. The old way.
Perhaps the old one should be left in the past.
Relic.
Perhaps I too belong in the past. I found her, but she was sick. She needed a woman to take care of her. But one day, that woman whom I trusted...
That's what I thought.
...came a thief in the night and stole...
I had a feeling. Didn't I say it was maybe her real mother?
You just tell me where the child is.
How about you suck my big black...
Boss wants him alive.
Yeah, remember? Yeah, you're way too drunk to deal with this, my bro. You need to learn to deal with this alcoholism. It didn't work very well for your last sensei or whatever you called him. She looks like a fuzzy bear. I can't. This man's poor bar. He just wants to make a living and y'all just destroyed the place. Haha, bite that. Oh, thank you.
Salvation waits.
I hate guys like him who always act like they're so tough after all the hard work's been done. Alright guys, that was episode 2, which was called The Old Way. And yes, once again, we got some insight into Yasuke's past and kind of the journey that he's gone through to get to the point of where we see him. And I like this. I like that they're giving us parallel storytelling because, I mean, you have the option in these shows like this to kind of either do like a whole flashback episode where we get everything in one shot, or like this where they're giving us a little bit of the past and a little bit of the current. And I like that because it kind of gives you that lovely congruence, I guess you could say, between like why certain things would trigger a memory or why this person acts the way they do now based on something that they learned or experienced in the past. And we're getting a lot of that with Yasuke. I like that Yasuke, so far we see that he's always been very strong and strong-willed, and that even in that whole situation where he challenged those samurais who were opposing Nobunaga, he, like I said, I just really like the way he handled that whole situation. Like, he showed first and foremost that his training that he's been given is not going to waste, right? When we first were introduced to him last episode, his fighting was very, like, what's the word I'm looking for? It was barehanded. It was very primitive, I guess you could say. And I don't like saying that because I'm not saying African folks were primitive, but I'm just saying compared to using weapons, you know, it was very much like using the body, using his fists, but he was still very good, right? He clearly had a penchant for fighting in the fact that he did defeat somebody who had a sword with his bare hands. And now with that samurai training, he's even more of a force to be reckoned with. And I like that strength of spirit and that diligence that he showed is really what helped him to rise to the ranks that he did in Nobunaga's army, I guess you could call it. And Actually, let me just finish that thought. So I really did appreciate that whole scene that they gave us when he was challenged or, brought out and singled out by those samurais, or that, I guess they weren't really samurais, I guess it was a clan. And when they basically thought that because he was the black one that he wouldn't understand how to fight them like samurais, right? And it's understandable, obviously. A lot of Japanese people, especially back then, had little to no exposure to anyone who wasn't Japanese. So they just thought all outsiders were just so different that they couldn't possibly have any understanding of what it is to be Japanese. And while it's true, Yasuke was not Japanese and he still wasn't really one of them, he still understood and learned so much in a relatively short amount of time. Enough to know what their old ways were, enough to understand the ceremony that was happening, enough to, as we saw, dispatch of their entire, the best of the best that they had of their military in a matter of minutes. So I really like that they're showing more and more of the type of character that Yasuke has and is, and why he was this kind of jewel in Nobunaga's eye, because it was just one of the most refreshing parts of this story is seeing how much Nobunaga respected Yasuke and how he put him on this level, because he saw past the fact that he wasn't Japanese and saw that he was just a smart military mind, a really good fighter, a loyal man, all these things that he really clearly valued in a person. Not just in a man, because as we saw, he had a woman in his ranks too, who obviously embodied a lot of those things as well. So Nobunaga was clearly way ahead of his time, right? He saw that, hello, Japan, we there's so much out here in this world that we're not experiencing and we're actually being held back by, because we're not opening our eyes and opening our hearts and our gates to what the world has to offer. And he saw what sadly a lot of Japanese people weren't really willing or ready to see at that time. And some people would argue that that's still somewhat the case. But that's how we got that one guy, I can't remember his name, who was one of his generals, instructors, etc., who was so resentful of how open-minded Nobunaga was, and of course the affection that he showed eventually to Yasuke. I mean, it was a little bit of his bigoted viewpoint. He was obviously in this, conditioned in the old ways, as he kept saying over and over again. But also there was a bit of jealousy there. And I love that, I keep forgetting the girl's name and I feel bad about that. But she kept saying to Yasan that it wasn't just because he was an outsider. It was also because there was jealousy, right? Yasan was damn good at what he was doing, right? He was a damn good fighter, damn good mind. Even if they didn't want to admit it, he proved with his actions that he was worthy of all the things that Nobunaga was giving him. But for those who are jealous, that doesn't really help the case, right? It doesn't help that Yasuke was just as good as what Nobunaga said he was. And sadly, they should have drawn inspiration from that, but instead we saw that they got more and more jealous. And so I have my theories that dude, the old dude who kept saying, maybe I belong in the past, I think he might have been the key to bringing down Nobunaga. I feel like he betrayed him in the end because he was very salty. Poor Yasuke getting his butt kicked at the end. We now know at least why the girl is in demand, or at least why this particular person wants them. My guess that I put out there about how maybe that was not her mother, I was right. So she did kidnap, well, not kidnap, but she rescued, I guess we could say, Saki from this priest when she realized that she was just going to end up using her for the rest of her life. And yeah, she basically tried to keep her in hiding all this time. And now, unfortunately, it's gotten to the point where I'm assuming this special doctor must be somebody who must be able to either stabilize Saki's powers, or maybe it's her real parents, who knows. But yeah, it looks like we might have lost her mother, or not her. We might have lost, what's her name? Yeah, it looks like we might have actually lost Ichika, but I'm hoping that's not the case, because she seemed pretty cool, and the fact that she's like in the posters is telling me that maybe we get to see her again. She might just be off somewhere taking care of the huge gaping wound where her arm used to be. But yeah, now that we know who's out here, this priest, we have his squad, that's who attacked the last episode, and they're actually not that good, considering that almost all of them are powered in some way, and Yasuke is not, and he still managed to do some decent damage to them on his own. I feel like if Yasuke had actually been keeping up with the skills and not become an alcoholic in the last 20 years, they would have been no match for him. So this just lets me know, though, that there's probably way more cool stuff to come with Yasuke, and I'm very, very much looking forward to it. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this episode along with me. If you did, please go ahead and give this episode a like, and if you want to see more from this geeky face, please go ahead and hit subscribe. Until next time, see ya!